Greetings, schools, and welcome back to another video essay on horror television. As you guys may know if you follow me on Instagram, this video will premiere during my road trip from Colorado through the deep south to Florida. So I felt this episode about a fire and brimstone evangelist would be perfectly suiting, as that's all I plan to listen to on the radio for 30 hours straight. Tonight we're exploring WGOD, which stars Gary Busey as Reverend Nolan Powers. We're following the Reverend with a radio show. He's taking callers. His first one is hilarious. It's a cheating wife who calls for his guidance. Her favorite song is Married But Not to Each Other, but he puts on something more non-secular. She needs Jesus. Later on, we have a caller that creeps the Reverend out, called Cold and Alone. It sounds like a teenage boy on the line. He blames the Reverend for him being trapped cold and alone. There's insane static. It's unbearable, honestly. Such a horrible sound. He goes offline and checks out what's causing the distortion. The Reverend heads out of the studio. He takes a journalist and the Lincoln with him. He has some questions and he'd like to tour his house. The Reverend answers a few of the questions, but he does not welcome the journalist into his home. The journalist gets picked up by the news van that was slowly trailing behind them. Nolan goes upstairs. His mother is up there listening to her other son, Gerald, sing. He has a voice of an angel, she thinks. The mother's love for her son, Gerald, is profound. She remembers him as perfect. The Reverend is jealous of the attention, and it shows immediately. He wants to know why he ran away if he was truly the perfect son. The next day at work, Nolan is called by the same creepy boy that called yesterday. The caller tells him that God helps those who help themselves. The boy is trying to save his soul. It's Judgment Day and there's no rest for the wicked. The Reverend goes to touch the microphone and he gets shocked to all hell.
Well, that's one for the Blue Jays, isn't it?
Later we have a speaking engagement at the mall for our Reverend pal. He's preaching for Jesus. Amen, brother. He works up a sweat yelling about a dead Jesus. A rumbling thunder interrupts him, and he takes that as a sign to head out. He's super paranoid and comes at the journalist. The Reverend tells the journalist that he's on to him. Okay, Nixon. He gets back in his home and pops on the TV to watch his performance. He dials a number that looks just like a cross, and when he punches in the numbers, the cross lights up. Love that touch. He's shook by this, and his mom is lurking in the shadows behind him and scares him half to death. She tells him that Gerald is back. She's ecstatic, but he tells her no, he isn't. She promises him that his brother is in fact back. He doesn't want to hear it. He blames the television people for playing a trick on them. Nolan drives off in the storm. His radio starts talking to him. It's his brother's voice, and he's insisting that he's going to teach him a lesson. The Reverend gets out of his car to dig up a spot. This is where he must have buried his dead brother. He's hearing all types of voices. They're coming from the radio station he works at. He runs in the rain to the building and enters. He goes to his desk. There's blood dripping down onto a Bible from the microphone. The Reverend puts on his headphones. His brother's voice asks, "Is this the Christ killer?" It's Judgment Day, Reverend. He's going nuts now. The soundproof walls get ripped apart. Blood squirts out of the electronics. The radio light goes live, and we get a confession out of Nolan.
I swear I didn't. I couldn't help it. I couldn't help it. She loved you. She hated me. I wanted to be you. That's why I did it. That's why I did it. That's why I killed you. I couldn't help myself, Gerald. Please forgive
me. Of course, the journalist heard every word. Nolan goes off and tells anyone listening to talk to Jesus. Jesus will bring you out of the darkness. He's an absolute shell of his former self. The poor man completely lost it. The cops find his brother's body dug up right next to the Reverend Nolan Powers' car, still running. And that's it. Not my favorite episode of The Hitchhiker, but still, I'd say definitely worth a watch. I'm gonna rate this one a 7.5 out of 10. The ending was really spooky 80s practical effects that I really appreciated, and I think it looks great even today. What do you guys think about this one? Be sure to let me know down in the comment section. Each like, comment, and subscription help my content reach a wider audience, and I tremendously appreciate it. I'd like to thank my patrons for making this video possible. If you have a few bucks and would like to support the channel, check out my Patreon. It helps me to continue to pour time into my passion project, this channel. Any Patreon member that pledges $5 or more is getting sent a personalized postcard from the road in June. So if you're on the fence about it, this is the month to get the coolest, creepiest postcard out there. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next Saturday. Stay spooky.